We're going to talk about 5 different ways that vulnerability just makes you more magnetic. Let's tap in. So the first one that I have here, it makes you relatable, and it gives off like this energy where people can connect to you. So when you can be in a vulnerable state and share something about yourself with someone, 9 times out of 10, someone is going to be able to relate with you. The person that you're sharing this with, if you're sharing it with a group of people, someone's going to be able to relate with you. And in that sense of being relatable, it connects you with other people. That's when you're able to start developing connections and relationships with people. And it's really cool. Like, it's not like trauma bonding, okay? So like, we're not, because being vulnerable is not, oh my God, this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me. No, vulnerability is a sense of surrender, in a sense, right? So when you're able to be vulnerable, hands down, it's going to make you just more relatable, and people are going to want to connect with you. And actually, like, the connection is just going to happen naturally. Like, people are going to come back to you and share things with you because they are going to be able to, they're going to feel connected, So the next thing I have is approachable. So this kind of goes with the relatable and connection. So after you've like shared some vulnerable sides of yourself with somebody or with a group of people, you have that connection, right? So now moving forward, you're going to be way more approachable. People are going to have no problem coming up to you, maybe asking for advice, just asking for a listening ear. You're just going to be so much easier to approach. And when I say approach, it's also going to be easier for people to also share, like, what's the term I'm looking for? Like constructive criticism, right? Because you're just more approachable. And the way that they approach you and may, relay or communicate the constructive criticism, I feel like would definitely be on a more kind of gentler side. But the fact that they're even able or willing to come to you and share maybe something that is not as easy to share with other people is because of the connection, because of the relatability that there is, because you have shown vulnerability. All right, so let's keep going. Next, we have emotional authenticity. So let me just go back a little bit. So the reason this topic really drew me in and I found it so like needed, like I just felt like I was like, this needs to be like some content on the channel, right? Because like I didn't really grow up thinking that vulnerability was some like superpower, or it was something that you should just hand out here and hand out there. And I still really don't feel that way, as far as like, you don't just hand out your vulnerability everywhere you go. There is like this inner knowing and guidance system that kind of leads you along the way and will tell you, sometimes very subtle, but will tell you, like, okay, you can be vulnerable with this person, or you can be vulnerable in this situation. Regardless of how you show up and when your vulnerability is displayed, it's all perfect, right? There is a system, there is a guidance system within each and every one of us that comes online and shows us and directs us in how and when to be vulnerable, right? So the emotional authenticity, this one's special to me, because emotional authenticity, I spent a lot of my young adult years, I mean, I'm not that old, right? I'll never be old. Sorry. So I'll never think of myself as old. Like, I'm just what I am, right? Anyways, I like the emotional authenticity because, like, okay, so like I was saying, squirrel, y'all, squirrel. Like I was saying, in my younger adult years, I didn't move with like emotional authenticity. I always felt like I needed to have my shit together all the time. There was no time to be breaking down crying. There was no time to be feeling all these deep emotions and being in my feelings. Like, there was no time, no space for that. I hadn't created that in my life, right? I actually wasn't raised to, I didn't see that created amongst my family, especially the women in my life, and especially the men, right? That's a whole nother subject. But just looking at the women that were highly influential in my life as I was growing up, like, there really wasn't, no one really created space to express authentically, emotionally. So emotional authenticity and vulnerability, they just go hand in hand. And you have to really have a sense of yourself. You have to have a strong sense of self in order to express yourself emotionally authentic. So when you're able to do that, it really is a very unique power, right? To kind of tap into emotional authenticity. It really lets others know who you are, and the fact that, like, we're not one way all the time. We are complex beings. One day I could be having a really great day. The next day I could not have that great of a day. And to be free in that expression is powerful. It speaks volumes about a person and how comfortable they are with themselves. And it's vulnerable to be authentic about your emotions and just where you're at in a moment at any given time. So I really like that particular point there of emotional authenticity, because also another thing that I want to mention is when you are emotionally authentic, your emotional intelligence, it rises, because then you're now more aware, right? So the next I have is courage and strength. So I had to tap into courage and strength to really bring my vulnerability online. So like I said, you're not vulnerable. There's a guidance system, right? We're going to go back to this internal knowing of how and when, certain things are supported. We'll say that. But it takes courage and it takes strength to be vulnerable, especially if you have found yourself in situations before where you were vulnerable and it wasn't received well, or someone, made fun of you or talked about you. I remember specifically when I was a little girl being told that I was like super sensitive. And when I look back on it, I'm like, hell yeah, I was fucking sensitive as fuck, because I'm a sensitive person. Like, I'm a very, very sensitive person. Especially like physically, to touch, like my body is very sensitive. So yes, I'm a very sensitive person. And I remember when that was said to me as a young girl by someone that I really, really looked up to, I thought that there was something wrong with that. And it was because I was responding in a way that either triggered them or they didn't like it. And so that was the thing to kind of say, because I was, having a certain type of reaction to what was going on. So it takes courage to be vulnerable. There is a sense of knowing, you have to know who you are and be emotionally authentic, have an emotional intelligence about yourself, and have courage and have strength in that. And know that how when you show up vulnerably, hey, this is what it is right now. And I am entrusting you, with my vulnerability. You'll also learn a lot about a person when you're vulnerable with someone. How they respond to you is key, and how you should possibly move forward with that person too. Last I have here is inspiration. So you will be so surprised how inspiring you will be to others that witness your vulnerability. It kind of just like, it just like releases people sometimes. Like you give others permission, you know, when you step into your vulnerability and really just embody it, right? It lets others know, okay, I don't have to have my shit together all the time, you know, like I am human. Like, you know, for me, it's like for so long I always put on this front that I have my shit together all the time. And when I say my shit together, that's just like, my appearance is together, the way I carry myself, the way I move, the way I this, the way I that. It just always seemed to be together. But I learned over time that the more I just, vulnerably showed up in certain situations, like it literally, like I could see the weight fall off of other people, and they became more comfortable with being vulnerable with me, or I would be able to witness them being vulnerable with others. And so you really are an inspiration when you just step into that vulnerability. You become magnetic, okay? Like people are drawn to you. It builds connection. It shows others that it's okay, you know? It will bring opportunities to you when you can be vulnerable. You never know, like you're sharing this side of yourself, and then from that share, now this person is asking you if you want to do this, or can I give you this, or like the magnetism is real, y'all. It's real. And don't limit yourself on what all you can draw into your world, right? Don't limit yourself. Like, you're not just gonna magnetize people. You're gonna magnetize money, opportunity, support, love, like commitment, just so many different things, like things that you never even thought of. You know, you can magnetize things. Like I've magnetized things into my world that I didn't even know I needed. And now that I've experienced them, I'm like, oh, that's definitely going into the vision, right? That's going into my end. That's something that I always want to have, on deck, or, available to me at all times. So being vulnerable really, it helps you expand. And it also, in that expansion, in that big, right? You know how they talk about like unbig your back? Okay, we're gonna big ourselves up right now, okay? So in that expansion, in that growth, you make more space for more things to come in. So I hope that this really helped you in understanding how vulnerability can make you more magnetic, and just also opening up your mind to all of what you can draw into you, and also to just let you know it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be vulnerable. And sometimes we'll be vulnerable in spaces where you're not highly supported, but guess what? You learn from that, your intelligence level knocks up one notch, and you keep on moving forward, right? That's what you do. And then you will, as time goes on, you will attract the people and the things that can really hold you down and support you, and you will make true, genuine, authentic connections. So I hope that this really summed it up for you. I just thought that this was a really important topic, because we too often, women and men, we too often walk around keeping so much stuff inside, not realizing how much, when we share, how much you can possibly help another person. We're all connected. And then when you share, how much that helps you on so many levels. So that's what I have for you. Thanks for being here. I'm Amber, and I'm the Empress here at Empress Expressions. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't. I would love to, like, you know, converse with you all down in the comments below. Let me know if this is resonating with you, if you felt like this was very supportive. It feels good, you know, to be validated and, you know, providing content for people, especially when it helps others. And that is my main objective, or one of my main objectives for creating this channel, is to connect with other like-minded people, continue to grow and support and be supported, and to just, you know, grow a community of beautiful souls. So that's what I have. I send you peace, I send you light, and I send you love. And until next time, bye.